We might see Sophie from behind the news desk fucking get in the ring.
I'm here, SE Montreal. Who's running?
All right. So, what's your problem?
What are we talking about here?
Record it,
What?
upload it.
You had a problem with my new moon observation?
I think a lot of people had a problem with it.
No, you particularly. You.
Sure.
What's your problem with it?
You don't know how to use a solar filter?
Okay, explain yourself.
And you thought you were going to see the moon through a solar filter while looking at the sun?
No, that's not what I thought. No.
You're standing there. You're in your video and you're like, "Where's the new moon? I don't see it." Well, if you actually researched what you were looking at, you would have known that the moon wasn't even in the shot that you were looking at. It was actually off to the side. And
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Thought,
it's 5 degrees off. Yeah.
And then you thought you were actually going to see something that doesn't emit any light through a solar filter while looking at the sun.
No, that's not what I thought.
That is what you thought.
No, this is what I thought.
Okay. Go ahead.
Tell me when you're done. Tell me when you're, and then we're gonna go to your boat observation after this. I can't wait. I've been waiting this for a long time. So now back to the new moon thing. What I wanted to show there was the moon is a rock in the sky, correct? That's what you guys claim, right?
Yep, go ahead.
All right. Now, the sun is the brightest object in the sky, correct?
Yep.
Okay, now, during the new moon phase, the moon is in front of the sun, correct?
When you hold on, when you say in front, you mean like in front as in blocking it?
No.
Or off
it's
to the
in
side
front,
somewhere.
right? It's 5 degrees off,
Okay,
according to your model,
5 degrees
correct?
off. Okay, yep.
But it's in front, right? Right?
Yes. You mean are
Yes.
you saying it's blocking it?
So now, you're claiming, your model claims that the brightest thing in the sky blocks the biggest rock in the sky while shining on it, correct?
Montreal.
Is that correct?
Montreal. Does the moon emit?
Is that correct?
Hold on. Does the
That's
moon
what I'm
emit
questioning,
any
my
light?
friend.
Does the moon emit any light at all?
You didn't answer my question. You didn't answer my question. My question was, the brightest object in the sky, the sun, is blocking the huge rock which is in front of it, correct?
No, it's not directly in front of it, Montreal.
It's 5 degrees off. 5 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Does that mean it's directly in front of it?
I didn't say it was directly in front of it.
Okay, so why would you expect to see it? Especially looking through a solar filter, Montreal.
That was my whole point. That's what I wanted to bring about, because you know why I thought of that? I'll give you another example, smarty pants. The solar eclipse, right? What happens during the solar eclipse?
The moon passes in between the sun and the earth?
Right. At what point do you see the moon when it passes?
You only see the moon when it starts to block the sun.
You mean the shadow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me this is another instance now where the brightest object in the sky, right, blocks the biggest rock in the sky while directly in front of it in this instance, right?
Why would you think that wouldn't work on? Do you think that wouldn't work on our model? Why would it not?
This what you're claiming? Is this what you're claiming?
Do you think it wouldn't work on our model?
That's not what I'm asking you. That's not what I'm asking you.
I'm sorry.
Well, not what you're claiming.
I'm asking you. Do you not think that would work on our model? I'll demonstrate it for you right now.
That's impossible to work.
That's great.
Absolutely
You know what?
not.
I'll demonstrate it to you right now how it works on our model.
You go ahead. You tell me how that works.
Give me 1 second. I just don't understand why you thought you were going to see the moon through your solar filter. Like, please explain that.
I just explained I just explained to you what brought this idea to my
The
head.
moon doesn't emit any light.
Now we are on a solar eclipse, and you were about to show me something. Please go ahead, sir.
All right, give me a second.
Now you're going to have to show me this in reality, right? You're not going to just show me something. I want you to show me the brightest thing blocking something like a light and something going in front of it, not being visible, casting a shadow, leaving, and not being visible. I want you to show me that.
Why would you think that wouldn't work on our model? I'm curious.
Hey, that's your problem, dude. Not mine.
Why would you think that wouldn't work on our model?
Because it's sheer fantasy.
You have three objects. You have the Earth, you have the moon, and you have the sun. And then you have the moon coming in between the Earth and the sun.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And do you not know? Do you not know that the moon's orbit is tilted? That's why we don't have solar eclipses like every month.
So the tilt of the moon is blocking. What are you saying here, dude?
Okay, so obviously you don't know that much about the model. You don't know this part about the model.
Dude, don't try to double talk.
Do you not know this part about the model?
You said you were going to show an example of how the brightest thing in the sky could block a rock, the huge moon, as it travels toward it. You don't see it. You just see a shadow, then it leaves and you see nothing. Please go ahead. Don't double talk. Don't backtrack. Go ahead.
Let me find this real quick here. Hold on. I'm trying to bring this up real quick. Give me a second. Oh.
Are you going to show me a GIF or something? Or are you going to show me a computer generated?
I'm going to show you on Space Engine exactly how it works.
You're kidding me, right?
And I'm going to go to a solar eclipse.
Right?
And I'm going to go to a solar eclipse that happened on June 10th of 2021.
Oh,
really?
Yep.
Okay, I'm dying to see this.
Give me a second.
But is it gonna be in real or is it just a model?
It's gonna be one that already happened.
It's gonna be a model.
It's gonna be one
model.
Yeah, listen to the question though.
Hold on.
Is it a real thing?
It's going to be one that already happened in reality.
It's
one that already happened.
No,
it happened on June 10th, 2021. Give me a second.
But it's going to be like a modeled reenactment, right? It's not going to be actual footage.
Yes. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you how I'm going to show you how it's possible on our model. Just give me a second.
In a computer on a graphic.
Yeah, that already happened.
Oh my God.
Okay, so you're going to show how it happened, right? And then afterwards, are you going to show the actual footage of it actually happening?
Sure, you can actually pull up footage of people who actually seen it. Sure, I can do that. Give me 1 second.
Somebody was posting some cool clips of like maybe it was You Earth is Life. Was posting cool clips of eclipses seen from a plane, from the space station, and from Himawari or something like that, and comparing them.
Yeah, that was a few days ago. 10. All right. Can anybody see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. All right. Can anybody see the moon here? Can you see the moon? It's right where my pointer is at. God, the barest I can see a crescent.
You can see the crescent, right? So you can barely see the moon, right?
I don't see the pointer.
Yeah, I don't think it shows the pointer. Or maybe you've got to set it up in the settings to show it.
All right. Can you see the moon right there next to the Earth?
I see it. Yeah, I see it.
Okay, and there's the sun. So you can barely see the moon. Barely.
But that's not what you see on an eclipse.
Right. Okay.
Have you seen an eclipse of yourself?
Hold up. The eclipse hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened yet. Now, watch when I go down to the surface. Let's see. Where's the path of totality? This one actually went from. It was actually in Canada. You should have seen this one, Montreal. It was up in your neck of the woods.
I filmed it, my friend. I filmed it.
You sure did.
Don't try to. Hey,
so you've already seen it in reality. So look, so I'm going to show you exactly how it works.
Are you listening, Smarty Pants? I filmed it.
He heard you.
Filmed it.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure that smart ass heard me. I filmed it.
And you're asking me, how are you going to show me this in reality? Well, you already seen it. You filmed it.
Seen what? What do you think I seen, dude?
Guys, Earth's Life, just go ahead with your presentation, and then we'll get to the footage afterwards.
Let me just go down to the surface. Let's see if we can see that shadow going across the.
Just so you know, time's constantly passing right now.
Yeah,
This
I know.
is,
Yep.
this
Look
is
at it.
priceless.
There's a shadow right there. Look at
He's
that.
gonna show me what I seen in real
Look at
life.
that. Look at this.
in
Look at this. You
CGI.
see
This
that
is
shadow right there?
priceless.
This
You
is
see that
why
shadow?
they're brainwashed. You see?
You see
That
that
right.
I
shadow?
saw this
Yeah, we
in
see
real
that.
life, Silent. I saw this, yeah.
What's your point, Earth's Life?
This is how it works on our model. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually go down, and I'm gonna go into that path.
No wonder why they're brainwashed, huh?
So that's the exact shadow, the path
This
of the
is where
shadow
they
of the
live.
moon, right?
Let me see.
What's it called?
Now,
The path of the shadow of the moon?
Look,
What's it
there's
called?
the sun. Look, there's the sun right there. Right? So there's the sun. This is what it looked like in the path of totality.
Okay, zoom in.
This is priceless, man.
And
So,
rewind it to where like the
This
moon was
is
before.
exactly. Give me a second. So I will rewind it. I'll speed it up. Actually, hold on. Let me lock on that.
Wow, look at that.
Wow! Look at that. Where'd the moon go?
Look at that,
Montreal.
guys.
Disappeared.
Where'd the
Where'd
moon
the
go?
Where'd the moon go?
Where'd
Oh
the
my
moon go,
goodness!
SD?
Wow, I'm sold, man. Hey, I'm a believer.
Look, there it is again. There's the moon.
Um,
Oh, whoa! There it is. It's still there. You just look at the moon.
you know,
right there.
that, bro.
Okay. Now can we see this with actual footage?
So go ahead, Montreal. Post your video.
No, you're saying it's actually
That's
happening.
hell, that's
what I
on
just
you,
showed
bro. Are you kidding me?
You filmed it. Let's see it. You filmed it. And I just showed
So
you
you're gonna use
exactly
his
how it works
footage.
on our
What's the
model.
real thing now?
Let's see it. Go ahead, post it. We'll all look at
He
it.
wants to use your footage as proof
No.
of Montreal.
Can you believe this
Yeah,
guy?
but I mean, you guys believe that's not what happens during a solar eclipse?
Wow.
He asked me.
Yeah, Montreal is
know what
contending it.
Really? What
ahead.
about you, Pasek? Do you think that isn't what happened? Have you guys never seen solar eclipses with your
No.
guys?
He
Don't
was
try
asking.
No, I
in the
believe the
video,
moon does go in front
He
of
was asking the question why he can't see the moon.
Bball, the real stuff now, please. Don't
You said-
backtrack.
you said
Everybody's
how-
listening.
You said, how come I can't see the moon? And it's supposed to be a new moon, right? You said,
No, I
it's a new
said
moon.
during the eclipse.
How come I
was
don't see the moon, which is supposed to be in front of the sun?
You guys hear the backtracking now?
Who's
Everybody's
backtracking?
hearing it, right?
Who's backtracking?
We're
That was
is
exactly
what
the
you
same as how it started. I don't
That
hear
is
any
what you
backtracking.
asked. Like he's not lying. That is
Riding
just
on
that.
eggshells has my video. There it is.
Let me see.
So
Thank
hold
you.
on, I have a question, Earth's Life. If you're not in the
Right.
path of totality, can you see the moon then?
No, you can't see it
Why not?
because you're looking at the sun.
I know, but if you're not in the path of totality,
Why
it's
would
not
you
going to be really dark.
Especially, well, think about this. Can you sometimes, like, when the sun is, when you're looking directly at the sun, it's the brightest thing in the sky. So you're not going to see anything else but that, especially something that doesn't emit any light.
Okay, can you, before you like move on to the footage, can you switch the position to be outside of the path of totality, and we'll see how it looks?
Let me see. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, go down to Australia
Yep, give me a second.
because
Zoom out.
there I imagine you might get a bit of a
Some reflection.
bit of a sliver of it. Yeah, you should get
let me
some
see.
edge. I would have thought.
Well, I mean, there is.
So, you're
footage of
backing
that.
down, Earth is Life. You're backing down from our conversation. Let's be clear now.
No,
Everybody's trying
we'll
to
get to
cut
the
in here.
footage.
Are you backing down from our conversation, Earth is Life?
Backing down from what? We're still on the same thing, bro.
Okay,
Nobody-
so now you showed us what you believe in a CGI now. You said you were going to show it in real life. Can you please do that?
He will right after this brief interlude.
You have the footage, don't you? You
as long
filmed
as
it.
we know we're in a brief interlude, no problem.
You filmed it. Now, can we see the moon? No, we can't see it. Look.
Is that acceptable percentage?
Zoom
What
in.
he's doing? Because
You
I
can't see
can't.
it.
I just want to see how it looks from
I
outside the
stand-
path totality, Montreal.
You
Sorry.
can't see it.
I said I want to see how it looks from outside of the path of totality.
Look, you can't see it.
Yeah,
So,
but you
like-
do realize the question I asked him, right?
Oh, so you won't see any eclipse whatsoever at all?
No.
Not even a
No.
sliver.
No.
Okay. What if
Especially
it's
especially if you're looking through a solar filter that blocks 99% of the light from the sun. Now, why would you expect to see the light from the moon? Well, the moon, which doesn't emit any light at all.
Well,
Yeah,
let me
I'm kind
be
of
clear. When I
confused.
asked-
What was your position on this, SE? Because it sounds like Earth is Life is describing it well. When I've got your video open, it sounds like you're saying I don't see the moon.
Yeah,
What
my
is your position
I'll
that
tell
you
you.
should see?
Yeah, I tell you. My position was, they say that it's blocked because of the glare of the sun. Correct?
That's exactly what it is.
Exactly. So I figured we can put a solar filter and just see what's going on. See, maybe we can spot something. Maybe the
Oh, I
side of
see.
it. You know, as it's like it's 5
So-
degrees.
Can I try and say this? What you're saying is if it's blocked by the glare of the sun, if I use a solar filter to block the glare, now I should be able to see the moon, is your reasoning?
No, I was hoping I could see the sun, maybe just a sliver from the edge, because it's
Of the
5
moon.
degrees off.
Of the moon, you mean?
But it doesn't
Yeah,
emit any light.
And now that you don't see any of the moon, well, what does that tell you, SC?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. That proved nothing. What that made me think, what part of the whole reasoning in here is the eclipse of the sun when the moon. Now this is unexplainable. Forget about, we just discussed this now. Now we're going somewhere else now, right? We agreed to this? We're not
agreed
talking
to what
about
And look,
the
the
solar
moon is actually
filter
right.
of the
The
new
moon is actually
moon. We're
right there.
talking about the observation with a solar filter
Look, the
of
moon is actually
the
right there.
eclipse. Why are you interrupting me, dude? Why?
But what are you saying is impossible, SC? Like, what
I'm
do you want
saying
us
That's the
to
bit
do?
we're trying
during.
to-
Okay, listen up. Listen up. I'm going to be very clear on this, okay? During a solar eclipse, the moon goes in front of the sun. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. As it approaches the sun, do you see the moon at all? Ever?
I mean,
No.
no.
What do you mean by approaches?
Why would you
Before
expect to
it gets
see
in
it?
front of the sun.
before
Right?
it starts eclipsing.
Before
Well,
it
no,
starts
you-
eclipsing, do you
you don't see
ever
the
see
moon.
the moon?
Why would you
No.
expect to see it?
Why would you expect to see it?
Yes.
The biggest rock in the sky,
That doesn't
4,000
emit.
mile diameter.
Okay. Let's see. Listen.
Are you
that
going to let me
doesn't-
finish?
Hold
Or
on,
are
let
you
me
just
stop
going
you
to
right
talk
there.
to me?
Just let SC finish.
Go
Just
ahead,
let
go
You
SC
ahead.
asked me a
finish.
question, right?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. The brightest thing in the sky, the sun, you have something approaching it from the side in front, right? The biggest rock in the sky, which is 4,000 miles across, give or take, whatever it is. You're going to tell me you're not going to see that as it approaches? You're only going to see
No.
a shadow of it as it
No.
eclipses?
Because the other side of the moon is being lit by the sun, and also the moon doesn't emit any light.
What about Earth shine?
You still wouldn't see it.
But there would be like some light from the Earth, right?
Probably very, very faint. But I'm sure if you look up, you could probably find some. You could probably find some images of the moon during the new moon. But it's very, very, very faint.
So I find it interesting because most anytime I like backlight something, if I put a lot of light behind something, I end up seeing the outline or the shadow of the thing that's in front of the light.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I would
All
agree
the
with
time.
that.
Depends.
But I would
Every
I would
time.
agree with that only when, like, I was thinking about if a car's driving towards me on the highway and it like illuminates a let's say a deer's crossing the road. I will see the outline of the deer, but I think I only see that in relation to a brightened background. So what I see is blackness where the deer is, a silhouette where the deer is, and then I see light behind it. If what was behind it was pure blackness, I think it would just blend in with the pure blackness.
Don't you see you're making stories up to make up for the unimpossible? Can you think you can recreate that in real world?
You just said blackness. Hold on.
Sure.
If I take a piece of wood and cut it out in the shape of a deer and paint the entire thing black, and put it in front of headlights and see it from, you think that all of a sudden I won't see it because it's black?
No. I'm not saying that the deer is black. What I'm saying is
the light behind it is bright enough.
Yeah, if the light behind light behind it's hitting the deer, but it's also hitting like road and posts and trees and stuff between the deer and it. That's what I see. I see the light that's hitting. But if there was nothing, if it was just a light,
from the side. How about when the deer is coming from the side? That's not directly in front of the light. How about from the side?
Yeah, then I would see it. Yeah.
So how come you don't see the moon then? So how come you don't see the moon then?
Pretty much lined up at a new moon. Like the definition of a new moon is
not a new moon. We're not talking about a new moon. We're talking about the eclipse, sir. Don't try to change the subject.
Does an eclipse happen at any time other than a new moon?
It doesn't matter. Why don't try to change the subject? Why are we not seeing the same thing as the deer, sir? Answer that question specifically.
He just explained it, man. He just explained it.
No, he didn't. He admitted.
You're driving.
What he said was, he said the headlights of the car behind the deer are also illuminating the road, and the silhouette of the deer is also being created by the light on the road as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it would work if it was a rock. I think it would work if it was perfectly flat. If the moon was perfectly flat and like perfectly aligned with the sun, then you could expect that there'd be no silhouette. But if it's spherical, you would expect that there'd be a silhouette due to like the outer surface of it.
Yeah, in reality, yeah, absolutely.
So what's your contention? What do you like? So what do you think is going on here then, Essie? Ultimately, if you don't think
what I think is going on is your fantasy that you believe in is not real.
Well, I just demonstrated to you how it works in our model.
No, you demonstrated to me in a cartoon, in a CGI, how you think the thing you have in your brain. And we told you in real life now, I think we showed you. Are you going to interrupt me every time I talk?
Go ahead, finish.
Sorry, that was my fault.
No problem. I think we showed you that in real life, you cannot make something disappear by shining a light on it.
Yeah, I think Earth is Life, you got to pull up some footage now where you can do that.
Where you can do what?
Where you can, the thing will disappear when it's backlit, because it's like really dark. So like in a pitch black room, you have light source at the back.
Here's a really good example. When you're driving and someone is coming towards you with their high beams on. Can you see a whole lot in front of you when someone's driving towards you with their high beams on?
You can see silhouettes.
You can see some, right? Some, but not everything, right? It's like, holy shit, that shit's bright. I can't see anything else but those freaking lights, right?
Do you know the difference between an explanation and a demonstration?
Yes, I know the difference.
So all you're doing right now, agreed, is that you're just explaining stuff, right? We're asking for demonstrations, yeah?
But when you claim something doesn't work, an explanation should be enough, because the contention is that the thing doesn't work, right? So if you disprove the argument, you don't have to demonstrate it. You just have to disprove it.
Well, if the argument is based on something that is not real, how do you demonstrate the opposite?
You're talking again without thinking, bro. Remember, think first.
You filmed what I just showed you in reality. You filmed it on the same exact day, right? When you said, what day was it? June 10th, right? And I just demonstrated to you exactly what you saw.
No, you just made up a story.
No,
and we told you, we contested it. We told you, you cannot make something disappear by shining a light on it. And you have yet to proven otherwise.
First of all, you're shining the light on the opposite side. So the part that you're seeing is not illuminated.
How about when it approaches from the side?
So if you're adding, okay,
if you're adding if you're at an angle, a really acute angle, you're not going to see the side that's illuminated. You're not going to see. You might see a sliver of the light, but basically, you're not going to. All of that's going to be washed out by the brightness of the sun.
So you're telling me in your deer crossing and the headlights now, you're telling me you have a car, right? Mm-hmm. It has its beams shining, right? There's a deer right in front. Okay, I'll grant you. Maybe when that deer's in front, if that light is so powerful, maybe I still think you'll see a shadow, but I'll let that slide. I'll give you that. You're telling me as that deer crosses to the side, right? Where the light is not directly shining on it, but there's still some light from the side. You're saying we're not gonna see that deer off to the side run away?
No, you probably
while
won't.
also wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, exactly. While also wearing sunglasses. Remember that you were using a solar filter. Remember that part.
You don't think that you're gonna be able to see the deer?
Nope. Not with sunglasses on.
Wow, man. Wow. Then,
That's a separate argument.
I drive all day.
This is a false analogy, though. This is a false analogy because the moon more or less completely covers the sun, right?
No,
so it's not like something where you have a small object with a large light source.
But in his video, he was using a solar filter, and also the moon wasn't.
How are you going to view the sun without a solar filter, dude?
How are you going to view the moon with a solar filter? Answer that question.
Man, you're completely missing the point.
Hold up, Montreal. What do you think is going on? What do you think that shadow is?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but I'm asking you to speculate.
What else would it be?
I don't know. I wouldn't know where to begin because I never seen an object that can be seen that has a shadow. Have you ever seen that?
No, but so you don't think it's the moon coming from the side because you can't see it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what would settle this is if Earth is life, if you have footage of, I know it's hard to find, it's hard to see the moon, with the minimal amount of Earth shine or whatever other thing that lets you see it. But like in your model right there, when you zoomed in, you could see that the moon was there. In fact, it's on the screen right now. If you have any footage whatsoever of any solar eclipse showing the moon like right before or after it eclipses, I think that would, be evidence to support your argument.
Here's my picture. Have a look, guys.
There's one.
Did you take it? Did you take that picture?
No, this is just a picture of a new moon.
Yeah, sure.
So do you think you'd be able to see that while looking through a solar filter? I don't think so.
Here's another one I took. Where's the moon?
It's right there.
Where?
What else would it be?
Blocking the sun.
It's blocking the sun. What else would it be, Monty?
Really, yeah?
What else would it be, Essie?
Yeah.
What else would
you
it be?
tell me, Bubba. You tell me.
Well, if you track the position of the moon in the celestial, the celestial coordinate of the moon, at that time it would be crossing the sun, and we see something the size of the moon crossing the sun. But for some reason, it's not the moon, right? It's something else. Yeah. The moon teleports to the other side.
I see
and something else.
I don't see a moon.
Like that's just a stupid, very, very stupid argument.
Hold up. If the moon is a sphere, you would expect like at the points of the sun, right? Like it's a crescent sun kind of, right? At the points right there, you'd expect that there'd be a little bit of the moon being backlit.
Yeah, but if you put that, if you picture that into scale, if you picture that into scale, yeah, it would be so tiny that, and it's so close to the sun.
Yeah.
How in the world
go through the
would we be able
reasons
to
to
say
think
that?
let's go through the reasons to think it's a moon. It happens bang on the time we expect a new moon. It's the same shape as the moon. It's in the place where we expect the moon to be, where we're looking in the sky and we don't have any other bodies. Yeah, are there
Same
any other
angular
reasons?
size of the moon.
Same angular size, yeah. So it's the same shape and the same size and where we expect it to be. We don't have anything else that fits those criteria. But on this particular day, it's something non-physical.
You can believe anything you want. When I observe the eclipse, I see nothing approaching the sun. Then I see a shadow. Then the shadow leaves, and then I see nothing again.
When I wander around at nighttime with sunglasses on, I also find it hard to see things.
You want. You can believe anything you want is there. Doesn't make it real.
What about without the solar filter? Do we see the
That'd be even
moon
worse.
without?
You
You'd
still
get
wouldn't.
blinded, bro.
You still
You'd get
wouldn't see it.
blinded. I don't advise you
Actually,
ever
that's
do
a good
that.
question.
You know, writing. You said
No, I know,
something. You
but-
said, you know, like we see, like it's either the moon or, so I don't know. I forget what you said, to be honest. But you said physical object, and I'm saying it could be, the moon and not a physical object. It doesn't need to be a physical object.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, that's accurate. It doesn't have to be a physical object, but it would be a non-physical object that behaves remarkably similar to a physical object you
would
can
agree
see
with that.
on other days.
If you can believe that a physical object can approach the biggest, shiniest thing in the sky without being seen, then you have been fooled, sir.
Well, if you look to its back and the rest of it is also black, it makes complete sense.
Look,
I mean,
SE,
you're trying to phrase that in a way that sounds unreasonable, but it just
No, realistic.
makes very easy.
Jerry, mira
makes
cómo voy.
sense easily.
9-1-3 al minuto 18, güey.
Hot mic.
No
Silent,
sé si
silent.
vaya a perder o no, pero para que veas, güey.
Silent.
ya-
Oye, espérate, men. What you
I'm
doing?
sorry.
Cuidado por ahí.
So, well, real quick though, if we're talking about, okay, you think it's realistic that we see Mercury and Venus, which is closer to the sun, so we're only ever really seeing like the side of these planets,
Yeah, but
and it's reflecting all the way, and you can see it with your naked eye. And you think that something as close as the moon isn't going to reflect any of that light towards us, and we'll be able to see it in.
it's not about the distance; it's about the angle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will.
other
It's like
saying-
if you were trying to see what somebody's face looked like, and you're in a dark room, which would you do? Would you put on sunglasses and put a light behind them, or would you take off your sunglasses and put a light in front of them?
Well, no, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice in this matter. We only have the eclipse, what's behind, theoretically behind. So we have to work with what we have, right?
Right.
So we don't
You'll
have a
get
choice to
blinded
say,
without the sunglasses, without the filter. Do you not understand this? You will
Yeah, I'm
get
not-
blinded.
I'm
Don't
not
give false
suggesting you do-
information out.
Yeah, we
I'm
understand
not
that.
suggesting you do it without a solar filter. I'm just saying you're going to lose things. Would we still expect to see stars through a solar filter? I wouldn't.
Nope.
Unless they're very,
I
very,
don't
very
understand why
bright.
we don't see parts of the, theoretically, on a new moon, or like when the moon is gone, that should kind of be like an eclipse all the time.
Yeah,
Think
but
that there's no radiating light coming out from behind the moon being lit from, and then we are able to
I mean,
see that in any way.
I think you're right, but I just think it would be such an incredibly tiny sliver that
No, I'm
it
talking
would
about even
be.
during without the filter, just looking at it during the daytime, not necessarily while it's actually eclipsing it, but approaching it, like 20 minutes beforehand or something.
yeah, but that angle would be so acute, we wouldn't see it.
But
This
that's
is
what I'm
what I'd
saying.
expect
Like, do
to
you think
see.
that the light that is coming from Mercury is reaching our eyes from the sun in some way, at whatever angle it's always going to be lit in a different way?
Or we can see
It's always going
when
to
we
be backlit
can't.
for us, or it's going to be extremely
I mean, it's
far
only
away.
visible.
We cannot
And
see.
you think that the moon isn't going to be a lot
We-
brighter?
No, we cannot see Venus when it's about to eclipse the sun, or after it just eclipses the sun. I mean, it takes a while so we can see Venus again because of the angle. Like, it's more aligned between the Earth and the sun. If it's not aligned with the Earth and the sun, then that bright part is much more visible.
Right, and the sun and the moon, so the moon is very, very close to the Earth. So almost doesn't matter what angle we're looking at, we're going to see shine off of the back of the moon.
Why would you see
Well,
shine off the back of the
It
moon
is
when
good
the back of
because
the
it's
moon is
gonna
not
reflect-
facing us?
It's
It's not facing
absolutely
us,
going to
though.
put light out. I mean, it's.
But I think what
mean,
he's saying is this crescent. I've just posted 11 minutes past the hour. I think what you're talking about, Ewok, is that like tiny, bright crescent around the edge. Is that it?
I mean, I mean, yeah, but I would say, I mean, we should definitely see that on the approach, right? We should definitely see some part of the side of the moon being lit as it approaches, like,
I
an
don't know.
hour
I think
before.
I'd work at like angles. I'd try to understand angles, and I would go, yeah, if that was at 90 degrees, if the sun was at 90 degrees, I would expect exactly half of that to light up. And then by degrees, I would expect that to go down and down and down. So how many degrees is it off the side of the sun right before the eclipse starts? And I think it'd be arc minutes. not even full degrees. So you probably get, I imagine, an arc minute's worth of light around the edge of it, which would be very dim.
I don't know, I just don't. I find it astounding that at this point we also don't have stuff on the moon to look at these eclipses as they're happening all the time. It's astounding to me that that's not in place.
There are satellites. There's I posted the Himawari one. I can post it again.
Talking
There's
about
satellites
on
that watch
the moon. On the moon.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not because we're not concerned with that.
You've already got it figured out.
Of course, you're not concerned with that. Of course.
I don't think anybody's concerned with seeing. I mean, it'd be cool to see an eclipse from the from the moon.
Cool.
Yeah,
can you imagine the revenue NASA can generate from
but
for
just to be able to,
Are you kidding me?
To be able to see that, I mean, no, they're not going to spend billions of dollars just for people to see that.
Oh, really?
They spent billions of dollars to send spiders up to webs.
Yeah, there's a
webs
reason.
in the ISS, and they forgot to feed them. They didn't bring food for the spiders, and they died.
Oh God!
These are the people we're dealing with.
Poor spiders.
This is an argument from silence.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this isn't.
So,
this is an
Earth is
argument
life.
from.
I hope I
You believe
dispelled
that
your.
these people wouldn't spend billions of dollars on nothing? For
You
real?
just showed exactly how more you don't understand.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. This was not done for you. It was done for other people. I know you will never understand what I just said, but that's.
I mean, I understand how it works on our model. I mean, I'm trying to explain to you or demonstrate to you how it works on our model. But ultimately, you still can't show us how it works on your non-existent model.
But we don't live on a model.
No,
you showed what you showed was very embarrassing. Let's get that straight. You showed
Really?
CGI graphics on a game.
Let's
get that straight, Earth is life.
But no. But that your actual footage confirmed because I showed you exactly what you saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You took my. This is better than I thought. Thank you.
You filmed it on the same exact day, right? On June 10th, right? Last year, right? That's when you filmed it, right?
Yeah, I had the real video.
Good.
I have it. You haven't seen it yet.
Exact day.
And you showed CGI.
I pulled up that same exact day in here, and it showed exactly what you saw. Yeah, and this
Can you show the actual footage though? Earth is life.
That's embarrassing, bro. That's embarrassing.
This is based on our model, and this is
sheer embarrassment.
Why is it that my model matches what you saw?
Bro,
how is that?
It doesn't.
You brought a knife to a gunfight, bro. Embarrassing.
It doesn't. Earth is life because in your model you can see very slightly the moon, before eclipses and after eclipses, and
a selenilian eclipse.
As far as I know, no footage shows that.
But there is no solar filter there. Is there?
Look at that. Look at that path of totality. Look, it goes right. You're in Canada, right? That's exactly where you filmed it. And this is exactly where the shadow went. Look at that.
Embarrassing, bro.
I'm showing you what you saw.
Really.
I'm showing you what you saw. And this is based on our model.
A computer program, bro. Come on.
Yeah. For some reason, it matches exactly what you saw. Why
you
is
didn't
that?
even see my video. You didn't even see my video. How do you know?
You can make it do whatever you want, bro. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Stop embarrassing yourself, bro.
Oh my God! How did I do that? How did I make it match exactly what you saw?
He's good at programming.
Program to do those things,
If I came up with a unicorn model, right? If my
It still
unicorn
would
model included the sun coming up in the east every morning, would I be wrong? Would my model be wrong?
Yeah, it would because we don't live on a unicorn. So.
Oh no, but every morning the sun comes up in the east, so I'm not wrong.
No,
model.
Because it wouldn't match reality.
I'd like to see that unicorn model.
Yeah,
hold on. I'm real sorry.
You have that.
It wouldn't match reality. I just told you that my model of the unicorns comes up in the east every morning. You're saying that doesn't match reality?
So if you have that, So if you have that, you can present it. That way we can take a look at it and see if it really matches.
You want me to present a unicorn model?
Yeah, go for it.
It'll exactly match what we see in reality. By the way,
go for it.
Really?
Yeah, go for it. Let's see.
So if you're asking me to actually do it, you're actively missing the point.
Well, like I said, if you have that unicorn model, let's take a look at it.
You're missing the point. I could make up anything I want.
All right, let's
see it match what we see in reality.
Right,
does that make it true?
Let's see it. Let's say you make a model. And
unicorn.
with a,
Okay,
that,
so I'll give you a
that's-
hint. I'll give you a hint. Every answer I'm going to give you is unicorn magic times
Okay,
whatever
but you
number
can't
I need to make it
okay,
work.
good.
Okay?
You can't produce that. You can't produce
I
that in real
can.
life. Let's
I
see it.
absolutely
All right,
could do
go
that.
ahead.
It'll match.
So,
It'll match
go away.
reality identically.
Awesome. Go
Everything in
away.
my model will say
Produce
exactly
it.
what it looks like in reality.
Okay, awesome. Go away, produce that, and then come back, and then you show it to us,
But
and you
do you
show
re-
us how it matches reality.
But
Go
you're
for it.
missing the point. You're
No.
missing
I know.
why.
I know the point. You're
No.
saying you can produce a model out of unicorns or something that'll match reality. So I'm saying, go ahead. You're making a claim, and you can do that. Go and do that, and then
right here.
we'll be back here, and we'll check it out.
The first part of my model involves the sun coming up in the east.
All right.
Can you prove me
you show
wrong?
me? All right. Show me a diagram of how it works. Give me a
Are
diagram.
you kidding?
Right,
What?
draw me a diagram, because that's how a model would work, right? You show physically how it looks like in reality, not just sit here and try and explain it to me and tell me that it's going to work.
Oh, so
you
you
show
want me to
and
draw a
demonstrate.
unicorn? You want me to draw a unicorn?
Go for it. If that's what you have to draw, I don't know your model. You're telling me that you have a model as a unicorn that matches reality.
Missing the point. Earth life. You're missing the point. You can
Okay,
make a model fit whatever you want.
Yes,
You know,
sure.
And you're
But
missing
can
the
you
response.
Demonstrate it in
Yeah,
reality.
it doesn't matter. The response is
Can you demonstrate it
doesn't
in
matter.
reality, though?
Yes, the sun comes up in the east every morning because of unicorn magic. What don't you understand about that?
Okay.
Prove
So
me wrong.
show me
Prove
where
me
the
wrong.
unicorn magic comes from.
Oh, it comes from deep in a. Well, you can't see it; it's invisible.
Okay.
It's there, but you can't. I mean, it's there obviously.
How
but
can
humans
I
can't see it.
verify? So how can we verify that
You're
it's actually
asking
that,
really
that's
good
actually going?
questions.
How can
That's
we verify
exactly the
that?
point.
How can we
That's
verify
exactly
the
the
moon is there
point.
beside the sun?
Because we can see the moon. People have been
No,
to
we
the moon.
can't.
Whether or not you believe
Well, you
people have
can't.
been to
You
the moon.
can't see the moon.
No, you cannot say that. That you cannot say that. Earth's life.
Look
Can
at
you
my
show me the
video that
craters?
I
Show me
took.
where the
No.
craters
that I
are.
In real
personally
life, we
took.
don't care, bro. We don't care about that model right there. We're talking about real life. Nobody can see the moon.
Yeah, well, this actually matches real life. So
Wow.
No, real life is what I posted. Earth is life. I did it with my camera, my hand, and my eyes.
that was really good, actually. It's really good.
Thank you.
Was it a digital camera, so it's CGI then?
The real camera.
Hey, Terry.
I see. I just got here. I've just been trying to listen in.
Good to have you.
The debate's about whether you should be able to see the moon before it occludes the sun at a new moon.
No, well, are we skipping past the point where you can make up a model and base it on whatever you want and back engineer it to make it fit whatever you feel like?
Yeah, if you can
you
do that, then
You can't.
if you can do that, then go ahead, man. Show us.
Listen, Earth's
I
life.
think you can,
Hold
but
on, guys.
I just think it'll break down
So
under
just say you
under testing.
don't understand that you can
Can I
do
just
that.
clarify it?
No,
and
because
Michelle's?
it will match the observations, right? You can make the sun go from one side and teleport to the other side, right? And you will observe the same thing.
Yeah,
in
but
the
we
model.
know.
Just because you observe the same thing as in the model, doesn't mean it's real, right?
Yeah, but we know the sun doesn't teleport from one side.
How do you know?
Because it's always visible.
Because someone
it's always
everyone
visible
on Earth. Because
to
everyone
whom?
on Earth, someone can always see it.
Yeah, that's correct.
So teleportation doesn't work. So we can throw that out the window.
Wait, why?
Because someone on the Earth at all times can see the sun.
Yeah, but it disappears at one point for that person, right? At one point.
Yeah, but it's always visible.
So how do you? That's what I'm saying.
But before it disappears for that person, it's now visible for another person. One. So the moment it teleports, whoever was seeing the sun will see the sun simply.
You can gather. We can gather only if you do it in a chain. Then we can reject that idea. Otherwise, you see it at one point and disappear at one point. I do the same thing.
But it is visible in a chain because it's always visible for some place of Earth.
I don't know about that. Like I said,
yes, it is.
Well, no, like I
visible.
said, there's a point. There's a point where there's no land in this model. There's no people close nearby, and at that point, you know what I'm saying, right? I'm gonna make the model big enough so that the sun is gonna travel to some place where nobody's able to see it, and then it's gonna appear on the other side. And there you
but
go.
then it's already not matching reality because in reality it's always visible. No, it's not.
See,
If in your model,
No, I'm
already-
sorry,
your
but
model
there's
already
places.
doesn't.
There's places where you can only see the light, not the sun, though. Right?
that's not what I'm saying.
The Selenilian eclipse goes against your model, by the way.
We can talk about that later, but what we're talking about now is that the sun is always visible for someone.
Talking about
That's real life.
Models matching
So-
reality is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, but you
This-
can't even explain a
Listen,
sun
all I know-
eclipse on a flat Earth. So I don't know why you guys always want to bring that up.
All I know is that you're saying that during before and after an eclipse, or during any new moon without an eclipse, that the moon is there. In order to know that it's there, we have to observe it. So do you have a single video where we observe the new moon? Where we can actually see the new moon, even just barely.
I think someone just posted some images of the new moon in the chat. In the chat, writing on eggshells posted some.
They're what popped up when I googled new moon, but it wouldn't surprise me if somebody's, because those are the smallest sliver I can find. There are some that are much bigger where they might just be using those photos to talk about. I didn't put much effort into that, is what I'm saying.
Supposedly,
so
there's one French guy has one. He has the record, apparently. I forget how much percentage there is. And you actually see a sliver of it.
Sure. Is he using a solar filter at the time?
Montreal?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But supposedly he has some sort of filter. There's one, I forget, it was a while ago since I looked it up.
So this would test some of what we're saying. What about Montreal? Next time there's like a, waning moon. Go out, point the camera at it so that we can see it, and then put the solar filter in front of it so we can see what we can see when there's a solar filter there.
No, I don't think you'll see anything with the solar filter.
Say that again, please.
I don't think you'll see anything if you point the camera with a solar filter at the moon. I don't think you'll see anything.
And that's what I was trying to tell you.
So your video seems like it is pointing the camera at where the moon is with a solar filter, but you've also just said, I don't expect to see it with a solar filter on.
No, this was during special circumstances.
What was special about them?
Granted, it wasn't the best experiment ever devised by a human being, right?
But just seems what's crucial for your test of whether I can see the new moon is that you could see the new moon, but by your own words, you wouldn't be able to see the moon if you were using a solar filter, which you were using.
No, not under these circumstances. Don't change my words. You just.
So what's
told
different
me
about the circumstances?
It's different because it's 5 degrees. It's very close.
Okay, to be fair, I think
so, like I said, maybe I botched that one completely, and I'll take responsibility for it. No problem. My real argument is Go ahead.
I was going to say, would it be possible to have like a partial solar filter, a solar filter where it's only like maybe like a little.
I should have thought of that because I have an ND filter. I do have one. I should have thought of that.
I think what Percentage is talking about though is like something that just completely blocks the sun, so that you could then use a really open aperture to capture everything but the sun.
Exactly.
It's not a bad idea.
For instance, when you're looking at the sun, when you actually look at the sun, your eyes will basically darken the sun. And you'll notice when you close your eyes, you see like that green kind of thing. That's basically your eyes protecting themselves when you're looking at the sun, and it just traces out the actual, the light that's too bright. It doesn't affect the rest of your field of view. So maybe you could have like a partial solar filter that only blocks out the sun and then leaves the moon.
You can block with a physical object.
Yeah, you could block.
Or you could do that. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
It's probably simpler.
So now my real beef is, and I'll.
See, come on, man. Who's a crybaby? How am I a crybaby?
Why did you go and post to Geo? This is why you don't want to debate me. You just debated me, you little bitch. Why would you post something like that? What are you trying to show, man?
I'm just showing that You just
are you
proved
sure,
me
man?
that
You're in the army. Are you freaking sure you face fucking men with bullets, dude?
From your vantage point, and I got the same exact image with my model.
Dude, you showed
the
us
same day.
CGI fucking graphics, dude.
Yeah,
A computer fucking program.
Yeah, that's
I,
based
on the other hand, filmed the event.
our
Are you
model.
fucking kidding me, dude? Are you
I
serious?
used it, that's based on our model, right? To the best of
Dude,
our
you're a
knowledge of how
joke,
our
dude.
model works, and it looks exactly like
okay,
your
but
image.
Why don't you
back
go
to
cry
square
to your
one. Hold on.
surgeon or something, man? Maybe
Yeah, hold on.
he'll comfort you or
Montreal,
something.
stop making it personal, man.
Yeah,
I know, but these guys get under my skin.
I know, but if you lose your cool, you lose.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. But I just can't
man.
handle
Listen,
little babies like that.
All I'm doing is showing you exactly what
You're a
my
little
model shows.
baby, dude.
Why are you upset?
I'm upset
My model,
because you went
you
crying
confirmed
to
my
you
model.
after you just debated me, saying this is why you don't want to debate me. You just
Who's
debated me, you lying sack. You just
Because I
debated
have.
me.
Do you know why I'm on right now? Because I have a little bit of time to waste. I'll be.
I don't
leaving
give
here
a
in
shit.
little bit.
Why would you, after you just debated me, why would a man that wears a fucking uniform of an
What are you
army,
talking about?
why would he
What
go
does that have
cry
to do?
to
Jesse,
the
what
to
does
the
that have to
We,
do?
general?
we don't want to hear it. We don't
What does
want
that have
to.
to do?
No one
You're
here
not
wants to
worth
hear
that,
it.
man.
Hold
You're not
up.
worth
Sorry, I
it.
missed it. What did he do after you guys just debated?
He just tagged Geo saying, "This is why I don't debate."
No, I didn't.
You suck. You liar.
Wait,
Scroll up.
you said I just DM'd Geo? Where
Not
did I DM
DM.
Geo?
Tagged. I said tagged.
No, I didn't.
I just read it.
Where?
Which is why I called you out. Did you remove it?
I think he was responding to a Gio's message, right?
Wait, let me see. Why don't you?
I think I've just posted it again. I think that's the one he's complaining about, where you said that, and then posted a picture of a thing. I don't understand what you're upset about.
Okay, I see. I think I posted that not knowing that I was typing something. No, listen, man. Listen.
Yeah. Listen, man.
That was already in the text on the bottom, so I didn't realize that was actually in there. I was probably replying to something about.
Just be a man. That's all you got to do. Be a man.
All right, well, be a man and stop doing character assassination. It's just weak.
It might have been an instant mistake.
I was about to type something, but then I didn't type it, and I just forgot about it, and I just posted that image. So.
What were you going to type?
Mistake. Okay.
I have no idea.
Right.
That what?
Let me see. Let me read it. Why don't you do a legit debate? Oh no, I was gonna say that would be a waste of time. That was a while ago.
Can we just go back to the
image was still attached, and you didn't realize it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Totally off into the weeds because we're back to square one, full circle about proving a model or re-engineering a model to make it fit to whatever you want it to work.
Well,
I think you're right about that. I think you could make up any model and have it fit.
I don't think so.
No, you don't.
Once you establish a model, you establish its predictions. You cannot use a fixed a model that is already established to make whatever prediction come up to fit that.
Say whatever you want. You gotta show
could I
light.
use special pleading to explain why it doesn't match predictions,
You
and then
could
go
say
it actually did match predictions?
You can say special pleading.
Eclipse matches predictions.
Exactly.
What's the problem with that?
What's the bit that doesn't match predictions?
I guess you don't know.
What's wrong with?
Yeah, I know what's the Selenium effect.
I don't understand
but I
why
heard different arguments.
I don't understand why you guys always bring up Selenium Eclipse.
I understand.
We're still waiting on the footage from you, Earth is Life.
Well, because
right?
you guys can't even explain an Eclipse on your model at all.
Predictions.
No, let's talk about the Selenium on the globe model. So what's the problem with that, Fuzzy?
Well, you said prediction and matches predictions. Well, when I see something coming from up to down, I would expect, or left to right. I mean, you could absolutely expect or predict something to happen up to down, left to right, based on what you've seen. And then when you see this eclipse, it doesn't do that. So,
could we say it doesn't match your predictions rather than the model's predictions?
So the model predicts selenalian eclipses?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
Let's hear the word.
Doesn't match your predictions of it, given the model.
What exactly about the Selenium do you think it doesn't match?
Let's hear the word. What? How do eclipses, Selenium eclipses work in your model? Let's hear the word.
Refraction.
Just want us to say refraction. Sure, you can say refraction.
Come on, guys.
Why do you think that wouldn't work?
Yeah.
Like we account for refraction since celestial navigation, right? At least, and the correction we do for celestial navigation, if you apply that to the moon when it's close to the horizon, it's the exact same thing. It would actually be lower. So that's exactly the same correction that we always did in celestial navigation. So why is that a problem to use that in the selenidum?
I don't think you understood what you said.
So okay, when you're looking to the stars, they're going to the horizon at some point, right? And they slow down. They don't travel in this constant speed. When they get close to the horizon, they slow down. That is attributed to refraction, and that is actually accounted for when you're taking elevation angles to stars. When they're too close to the horizon, we make a correction, and their near elevation is actually lower than what we measured.
Right.
And that correction.
So when do those stars go the opposite direction in which they were traveling?
What do you mean?
Wait, say again?
I don't think that's predicted. I don't see that happening. I don't
Yeah,
think that's predicted either.
They look like they're going up as opposed to down, because in a selenilian, it's opposite of what it.
Why? What
But
exactly
it's
is
not
opposite?
stars. It's not stars, is it? The
No.
shadows going
the
up
point-
instead of
but
down.
you say refraction is what causes it to do something different. So why doesn't it?
No. The refraction is just explaining the position of the moon, like why you can see both moon and sun. That's because they're close to the horizon, so their actual position is actually lower, and that is something we always knew since at least in the celestial navigation, because we accounted for it when we were doing celestial navigation.
And the shadows on the other side.
No, the shadow is on the right side. The direction that the moon is going is not the orbit of the moon. It's the spin of the Earth in the other direction. That's just a misconception. You just don't know the model you're criticizing. Because okay, so
Okay, cool.
let me
that up.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How long does it take for the Earth to make a full rotation under the globe model?
What rotate?
24 hours?
What's it?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we're arguing within the model.
Yeah, we're talking about the model. You're saying that's a problem of the model. Let me test if you actually understand the model. So how long does it take for the Earth to make a full rotation under the globe model?
Talking about 24-hour day.
Yeah, a little bit less, but yeah. Well, how long does it take for the moon to make a full orbit around the Earth?
What's an orbit?
To go around the Earth once. How long does it take?
Why are you asking him about your model?
Because he's criticizing the model. If he doesn't understand the model, it doesn't make sense to criticize him. No. You made the claim.
For the proof of that model. That's all we're.
No. You made the claim that that's a problem for the globe model. It doesn't match selenidum. And I'm trying to get if you actually at least understand the model, so you can make that assessment that you're doing right now. So how long does it take?
We're asking for proof of your model, not whether or not we understand your model. We
No,
all went to the same schools.
I'm not answering to a request for proof. I'm answering to your claim that it's a problem for the globe model.
Why is it called the impossible eclipse?
Because you guys don't understand the model.
I didn't call it the impossible eclipse.
Same reason a pseudo-force is called a pseudo-force. They sometimes give a name to something that you could, if you took very literally, understand the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's not called impossible. It's not called impossible. I don't think it's called impossible because of the position of the shadow. I think it's called impossible because you can see both moon and sun. And if you don't think of the atmosphere, that actually would be impossible, right? But if you remember that we have an atmosphere, and that make things a little bit higher than they are when they're close to the horizon, then that makes sense.
Yeah, but see, the problem is that your explanation of that entire scenario revolves around the fact that certain other assumptions are made about the globe model that we're asking for proof that are unfalsifiable claims. So you just have to either go with it or
I'm not answering for. Yeah, but I'm not.
That's ultimately what we're talking about.
No, there wasn't. Your point was that that's a problem for the globe.
The whole reason why this server exists is because this is what we're talking about.
Sure, but there's different things you can say. One thing you can say is that that's a problem for the globe, which is what you said. And I'm showing you that there's not a problem with the globe, and you don't even understand the globe apparently.
How would I go falsify it for myself? How would I go prove it for myself? Or is it an unfalsifiable claim?
That's a complete different reasoning. There would be a complete different reasoning for that. I don't know how to answer that question, but that wasn't the thing I was trying to answer.
You can't prove it, and I can't prove it for myself either, right?
Yeah, they have a concept, but they don't have proof of the concept.
Well, the selenium specifically, like if the rest of it is proven, I don't see why you need something extra for the
That's exactly what I'm
selenium.
saying. You're basing your assumptions off of all these other globe model ideas that you don't have proof for, and that's what we're asking for proof for. Let's start with curvature or spin or any of these things.
Oh, we have
This is
proof for
what
those. Yeah.
You can't just assume all those are correct and then make and
Well,
then
you can measure centrifugal force of the Earth. How don't we have proof for that? For the rotation.
That's bullshit. You guys
Oh,
don't
I
have,
measured myself.
you don't have proof of rotation because you've never once done Foucault's experiment or what have you with the same apparatus at different latitudes or with multiple apparatuses at the same latitude to show that it will be different
Again,
precession
an argument from absence.
latitudes.
Yeah, that's just
Argument from
adding too
silence.
much. Yeah, that's just adding too many requirements to
Well,
accept
that
the
is what
obvious
you
evidence.
need. You need to change the latitude. That's the
No,
only
that's
independent
what
variable.
you're saying.
No,
Like,
seriously, you guys say different latitudes is different precession. So all you need to do is have the same apparatus at a different latitude, or you could have multiple apparatuses at the same latitude showing all the same precession.
Yeah.
No, but if
I
we
don't
have
think all that.
multiple, if we make the Foucault's pendulum in multiple longitudes in the same latitude, this wouldn't be a very good evidence because we don't know what will happen if we change our latitude. So that it could be the same precession for the whole Earth, which would imply on a rotating flat Earth. So that wouldn't be a validation of what we think is
I'm not saying
reasonable.
different longitudes. I don't know where you got that.
We're setting the same latitude. So if I'm in the same latitude and I'm not on top of it, the pendulums aren't on top of each other, then they are in different longitudes, right?
Yeah, but they could literally be like a meter apart, just different apparatuses, right? With different micro deviations and imperfections in the gimbal and the stand.
They're
all
still in
that
different
bullshit.
longitudes.
And we'll just see if it's the same precession. Because if it's not the same precession, then we have an issue because it's the same exact latitude, right?
Sure.
There you go. But that's never been done. The better one
So-
would be. Hold up. The
Wait,
better one would
wait,
be.
wait.
Let me just say this. The better one would be if you did it at the equator, same apparatus, you just had it at the equator, and it was going perfectly back and forth, straight, no precession whatsoever, and then you moved it to a different latitude, and it started precessing, and then, and you didn't change anything else. You had left the temperature the same, the pressure the same.
If you moved it, it's more likely that you introduce the precession yourself by moving it. Then
No, I'm saying
You mean
that
sort of
was a
set it
very
up again
bad
at a
way.
new latitude.
No, you started again at the new latitude, but you don't change the apparatus. You have the same micro imperfections in the apparatus, and you have it. Ideally, you would have it in a chamber which is modulating for temperature and pressure.
I think that's an exaggeration since whenever we do, it already matches the latitude, like regardless on how the setup is. So you can try to attribute that all of those imperfections are actually coincidentally matching the latitude.
Show us at the
already
same latitude that
mathematically-
that they match perfectly.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying they
I mean,
match perfectly,
it's
but
like
the function,
temperature and pressure don't matter, and the micro
the
deviations
function,
don't matter.
the function that describes how they would precess on a rotating Earth with the given radius, is exactly the function that describes how pendulums precess. Like there's a, let's say, a deviation of like 0.5 degree every hour, 0.5 degrees every hour. It's very hard to make this
But
very precise, but
how do you know the radius value?
that's what I'm testing. I'm saying if that's the radius, this would be
No,
the.
you're not testing it. You said you already knew it. You said it matches.
No, I didn't say I knew it. I said given that radius, that would be the expected precession. So actually, I'm
given
testing
the
that.
radius, yeah. Given it.
Yeah, so
you
I'm
already know
testing
it,
that. Yeah, I know what I'm testing.
Yeah. How did you come
The
up
house
with
of
the
cards.
radius?
Sorry. And first of all, I wasn't even referring to
circular. Everything
Foucault's
is based on
pendulums.
something
I
else.
said that we can measure centrifugal force. I didn't say Coriolis force.
Not. I didn't say Coriolis. So what we're,
No,
okay. But,
that's
well,
what makes the.
all of this that we're talking about. You just said is based on the radius, right? That's what you said.
So what's the flat Earth explanation for these?
No,
You just think it doesn't happen?
Asking him as about.
Yeah, some of they claim that. Each
just doesn't
one
happen.
of them gives a different answer. Some accept the pendulum precess, but they attribute that to ether or
Right.
electromagnetic fields. There are all sorts of ad hocs.
In terms of the eclipse, I disagree with Montreal. I do think that it's the moon. I just don't know what the moon is.
Do you think, does it look physical or do you think it's physical?
It looks physical. I don't know if it is.
Okay. Do you think it is based on?
And I would not say that it's spherical. Like
no, but I mean, like if you were sort of going to go, oh, which way would I guess? I'm not being held to it, but what do you think it is? Do you think it's physical, even if you don't know it is?
I think it's physical. I don't know, what it is at all, though.
Fair enough.
So percentage, you think something physical, 4,000 mile in diameter, could approach the sun without being seen?
Let me rephrase. I know it's physical because it's light, and light is physical. Whether it's tangible, I don't know.
What do you mean?
All light is physical.
How could it be physical and not tangible?
Because all light is physical. It's it has physical properties. You can see it. It has heat or energy or whatever. It's a physical thing. It's not metaphysical. It's not abstract.
We're talking about the moon, not light.
But the moon is light.
The moon is light?
Yeah, we see light. That's what the moon is.
Right. But you said it's also physical.
Yeah, light is physical. It's not, I don't know if it's tangible, but it's definitely physical. All light is physical.
So you're saying it's just light?
I'm not saying it's just light. It's definitely light. More than that, I don't know.
So you're saying light can block light? The sun?
I don't know.
Come on, you know.
Honestly, I don't. Like, it could be possible that it could be possible that the nature of the sun is reciprocal to the nature of the moon, and that they cancel each other out or something like that. And I don't know, man. It's completely, we don't have enough information, so it's like an indeterminate amount. We can't conclude anything.
Percentage, seriously, bro. You can't think light can block light. Like, come on. Light, a lesser light can block the sun? Seriously?
Montreal, it might be that these lights work with different natures, like that, not with the natural laws that we have on terra firma. It might be a different set of natural laws completely. We can't make any sort of decisions without actually being up there or knowing what it is.
Okay, I'll grant you that outside of our known physics. If you want to go there,
Absolutely,
I'll say okay. I'll pass on that one. Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, it
but
has
not
to
in
be outside
reality.
of our known physics.
Yeah.
Well, if you assume the nature of terra firma for the stuff in the sky, then yeah, like you would have to say it looks tangible because it looks like it has the surface looks like rough and stuff like that, and it looks and like light can't block light and a bunch of stuff. But I don't think we're in a position to say that the nature of terra firma automatically applies to the heavens.
Well, that's like making an argument out of a supposed thing, so you can't really argue against that. If
I'm
you
saying,
want to go into an
we have an
alternative,
indeterminate amount of information. Simple as that.
well, no, you're not saying that. You're saying in another realm, in another dimension, you went metaphysical.
No, I'm saying it's possible that there's a different set of natural laws for the heavens as they're as opposed to the earth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're saying the same thing. Yeah, I can't argue with that. That's like saying a unicorn, right?
I mean, I don't know about that.
Well, I don't want to put
maybe a bit, but like we have absolutely no evidence of. We've never been up there. We have no samples. We have no we don't have a foothold at all. We don't even have like the door open, even just a creak for all of the knowledge of whatever's up there, right? So we can't automatically assume. And that's one of the that's one of the assumptions of science, that the same rules apply everywhere. Like, that you just can apply the same rules down here as to up there. But I don't think, we're in a position to automatically say that.
Yeah, if you want to go that route, that argument, yeah, you can't argue against that for sure. You can't know what's up there. So I'm a firm believer in that. But as far as light blocking light in this realm, that's not possible.
Of course,
not a lesser light blocking the sun, in my view.
Yeah, no, in terms of, terra firma and the natural laws that we have here, definitely.
All right. Cool. So still doesn't explain what blocks the sun during a solar eclipse. That invisible thing.
I still believe it's the moon just because of the cycles and stuff, but I can't tell you what it is or what's happening or whatever.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Percentage, I think I might have found a Royal Society study that satisfies your conditions.
A study? I don't like studies. I like actual video photo evidence.
Right, well,
but
I'll put the study anyway. 11 different locations from the North Pole down to the equator and the South Pole, with a Foucault's pendulum that they designed to shield from magnetic and electromagnetic and other forms of interference that they tested and plotted against latitude.
I'll check it out. I appreciate you looking, though.
But see, then you run into the problem of, did they really go to the North Pole? How do we trust them? This is kind of an appeal to authority. Just saying.
I would say it's more of a reassertion of the claim.
What the fuck? Man?
That I could present something. Could you think of, though, Ewok, anything that could be presented on either side of the argument that you couldn't find some little niggle with? Oh, that's an appeal to authority. I don't have video of it. Or we don't have video of the person videoing it. How do we know they really existed? Like,
that's a
all of these claims for any.
That's a dishonest way of saying it, writing, because there's different confidence levels, and I'm sure you'll agree that having like live or uncut video of something is more confidence than just having the claim, said again in the form of a study, a so-called study.
To me, not really. No, because from like, what would somebody video if somebody just had a video of the inside of a shielded Foucault's pendulum? Wouldn't you find somebody going, but how do I know that they're really at latitude X? Oh, because they've got a video on the outside, but how do I know that's not a green screen? Like you could, it's good to be skeptical, but that's just getting to the point where you're using it as an excuse to throw things out, in my opinion.
That is a huge problem in our civilization right now, because we can deep fake people's faces and make people's voices. We can do basically anything. And if that footage comes from some authority and makes it look real, and people already are inherently believing in a certain idea, then that's very easy to feel.
We have to be wary just in case. We have to be wary just in case they're deep faking us, even at NASA.
Yeah, then why wake up?
It's been a good conversation. Good night, everybody.
Why wake up in the morning, man?
Night.
That's going to be your philosophy. Why even wake up? Why even get out of bed?
Well, we have to have faith in something, KO. Yeah, but is NASA worthy of our faith, or are there inconsistencies?
And that's too bleak of an outlook to no. The point is.
So what would convince you, though? If we could have deep fakes, if video could be faked, if studies could be faked, these people from the Royal Society just never even got on a plane. What could you trust?
Well, that's we got to get out there and do it ourselves. We got to do all kinds.
Could you trust yourself?
No. Well, I guess here's the problem: is that we have to recognize that there's a problem first before we then come up with solutions. Right?
But even if you went out there and did it yourself,
once we realize the problems.
But even if you went out there and did it yourself, I mean, I think there are many people that the flat Earth would say, well, he made assumptions and he didn't really know what he was testing.
You can trust consistency. You just need to see how consistent our interpretation is and how consistent the evidence is, and go from there.
When it comes to Foucault's pendulum, their precession relative to latitude is very consistent. Like, you rarely see, in the scientific studies I've read, you rarely see curves as neat as that. It is so consistent.
Well, the false cult pendulum could be reinterpreted over a flat plane. The latitudes would simply be over a flat surface, and the swirl of the pendulum would be correlated to the swirl of space over the flat
Ether.
surface. That's another
Right.
interpretation that appears to be pretty consistent, at least for me, and at least appears to go with the flat, evidence that we see for the laser tested stuff. I mean, just because a pendulum swings doesn't really give us direct evidence of a globe. We may infer it for the globe, but it doesn't necessarily, correlate directly. I mean, we could just infer it for a flat plane or infer it toward a flat plane or whatever.
I would think if it would interact enough to cause, a deviation in the pendulum, that it would interact enough for us to detect it with some sort of sensors that, and so far they've not been able to detect it.
Yeah.
Or
it's like
a helicopter. Or a football.
What do you mean about a helicopter?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
What's that?
Or a football, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
But I mean, I think Left Lane's point still stands, right? If it is this thing other than centrifugal force or sort of changes in angular momentum, and it's a different thing, shouldn't we be able to measure it a different way? And is it interesting that the ether is giving a reading that you would expect on a ball?
Well, we already expect a ball, though. So, I mean, that's kind of trivial because we're already expecting a ball anyway. But I think there's another interpretation there that we could cover that would be just as consistent with a flat, motionless surface.
Except we don't have any data to support that.
Yeah.
Northern hemisphere.
We don't have any data to support that the Earth is a ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I would expect if it was ether.
Spinning ball.
Either maximum in the middle and
so that's what we were on. All air travel would be going in certain directions. All runways would be facing east-west. You'd never land a plane north-south ever.
What's that got to do with the Foucault pendulum?
East-west, if we were on a spinning ball, would be a quicker way to travel because you would be going against the spin of the Earth, and the spin of the Earth could be used to spin under you and bring your destination to you. That's what he's saying.
But aren't you landing on the Earth?
Yeah, you're missing
You're
out the
leaving the Earth and landing on the Earth.
That was a leap from talking about the Foucault pendulum to landing on a runway.
All right, so let's get back to the false-cult pendulum.
Right?
Yes, we're talking in general about rotation, yes, but they're stuck on this false cult pendulum. But back to the false cult pendulum. Because of relativity, the Earth could be moving and or the space over and around the Earth could be moving. To break the tie, we're going to need a substance between the Earth and, I guess, space and ether to break the tie. Otherwise, mind-killing relativity would say both are valid. The Earth could be moving.
They're not a tie. You've invoked that they're a tie, but you've just gone, hey, it might be this thing. The Foucault's pendulum you could use and you could co-witness with looking up and seeing the latitude of the South Celestial or North Celestial Pole and go, yes, this swinging pendulum tells me I'm at the same latitude as that light in the sky does. Whereas your answer is like, maybe it could be something else. And you're calling that a tie?
Well, the false cult pendulum isn't consistent enough to be any evidence. Sometimes these pendulums don't swing. Sometimes they reverse during eclipses. This evidence is swept under the rug or dismissed because it's not convenient for the model. What exactly is good enough to make the pendulum anomalously swing and break its normal period during an eclipse? The only thing that I can think of is space being a flowing substance like water that flows differently during an eclipse because of the alignment of the sun, moon, and stars or whatever, like pebbles in the stream of the ether. Otherwise, from your gravity perspective, your centrifugal force perspective, you really don't have a way to explain why the pendulum is swinging anomalously. What's changing its mass? What's changing its period? What is changing this pendulum during an eclipse other than you just sweeping it under the rug and dismissing it? The Allais effect goes against your model and can't really be explained.
This is the very definition of a Gish Gallop to ask like 16 questions in a row.
Well, the thing is, a lot of the people in this discussion haven't brought enough data to the table to really solve the problem. We could get myopically focused on this issue or this issue, but if we bring a lot of information to the table, all of a sudden we can solve this freaking issue very easily instead of being myopically focused on one thing. You call it Gish Gallop, I call it bringing enough information to the table to actually render a competent verdict.
But you're not bringing information, you're just asking questions.
Yeah, and these anomalies that you speak of, I've heard you speak of them, but I've never seen any other evidence of these anomalies that you talk about.
Oh, for Christ's
sake. That's because they're anomalies.
About the Allais effect in the chat. People are exploring it as a legitimate phenomenon.
and it's been attempted to be repeated, and there's repeating attempts were failed. And I think that if you were really felt convicted that it was true, you should probably try a difficult pendulum during an eclipse, Lemon, and maybe it won't be an anomaly anymore, and it'll just be something that happened. But it is an anomaly because it only happened, I think, 2 times.
It's an anomaly because the heliocentric model can't explain it. So it would rather dismiss it or throw it under the rug. It looks like we need to look into another model to explain it, gentlemen, something other than the defunct model.
It's mysterious, but has it been repeated? Have you repeated it? Has anybody repeated it? Because what I'm reading is it's called the Elias, whatever effect, and other people are failing to get the same result, or other people are getting inconclusive results. And even if they all got the same result, what would that say about flat?
At the very least, it appears to point towards some sort of substance in the interpretation that I would be offering anyway, to some sort of substance that's flowing slightly differently during the eclipse. Otherwise, since your model is based on centrifugal force and or gravity, you're going to need to account for gravitational and or centrifugal force changes during the eclipse to make the pendulum swing slightly differently or something to that effect. So based off of your framework really offering no answer, I'd go with at least something else.
Hang on, but I'm offering no answer. Do you really think I could explain that is an answer? It sounds like asserting you could answer it, but just going, oh, stuff might swirl differently during an eclipse. That to me doesn't seem like an answer. That seems like a non-answer. Like, sure, here's my answer. Maybe stuff doesn't swirl differently during an eclipse. Maybe this is a bunk result. There we go. I've presented my evidence.
Well, just because I present an explanation doesn't mean that it's necessarily valid or true, but science has a bunch of explanations that are similar, that are simply offered and put forward as a way to go forward and do additional exploration and experimentation to figure out what is the case. As far as I can tell, the heliocentric model has no answer, therefore exploration stops and goes nowhere at that point. If we have alternative explorations with an ether or something else, at least that's a way forward to figure out what is the case. Does space have a substance? Does it flow? Does it flow this way or that way? Is it thick and sludgy? Does it have a density that we can catalog? At least now we have a way forward as opposed to letting science stop just because science refused to catalog the anomalous effects that are inconvenient for their preferred model.
Right, but they haven't stopped. If you read that Wikipedia page, they're still doing studies. This most recent one is like 12 years ago. So they didn't just see it, go, I guess we don't know about that, and stopped. It seems that they do study it again, and during every solar eclipse, they try and do it. The most recent that I can find being 2009.
And you're basing your model off of an anomaly, and then ridiculing us for.
But so when you're
having
basing
an
your
anomaly.
model on the radius, and we can see too far many different days of the year, and not as far on many other days, it's who knows whose is right. Well, what exactly is going on here? Because one is just taking
I
for
know who doesn't
granted and
know.
saying that's what it is, and the other one is saying that that's absolute nonsense, and there must be
I
an
don't think
anomaly.
anybody's saying it's nonsense. I mean, since very early on with celestial navigation, they talked about refraction. What I would say is an inconsistent result is to say if we sometimes see too far and sometimes we don't, I'm going to conclude we live on something flat. To me, for something flat, we would always need to be able to see forever. Not sometimes the ball we're on seems bigger, therefore it's not a ball. That's the bit that doesn't seem to me logical.
You can see through like clouds and stuff from far away.
What?
Sure, on a clear day, yeah.
If there are clouds in the sky, you think you'd be able to see through that?
No.
We're talking obstruction here.
So if there's fog off the water, you think you should be able to see through that all the way to New York from?
I don't think you would get a measurement that finds where where bottom-up obstruction does start, i.e. a horizon, and then go, because it's slightly further than I thought, I've concluded it's a wholly different shape, rather than coming to the conclusion that maybe the ball's 7/6 bigger than we're told.
Yeah, you tend to get obstruction on clear days.
Well, the crossroads, gentlemen, is with the preferred model and the things that the preferred model cannot explain. We can write workarounds and, excuses for the model, or drop it and pursue another one. I think at this point, as flatties, we would drop the heliocentric model, not write it any more blank checks for refraction or whatever during the eclipse with the Allais effect or whatever, and just go with something else that may offer perchance a different way forward and a different way to explain what's going on, like something flat.
If it reliably explained the Allais effect and solar and alien eclipses and a couple of other phenomena, maybe. But it just doesn't seem like it does to me. It seems like it goes, well, your model's got some holes, so go with this one that still has the same holes and some others besides.
Well, it's not that it has holes, it's that you've already gotten holes that you've not been able to fill yourself, that you can't prove beyond,
But I'm not talking about the holes in the heliocentric model at the moment. What I'm saying is, if you're claiming they're holes, and I grant that for the sake of conversation, fine, there are some holes. Why would I switch from a model that has some holes to a model that isn't even able to fill those holes, let alone a chunk of other ones?
So a logical fallacy is better than nothing kind of deal?
No, it's not a logical fallacy. It seems that the logic you're employing is, if there are some holes, we should abandon this.
A logical fallacy is better than nothing.
No, if your logic is, because this model has some holes, I'm going to abandon it and embrace another model that has the same holes. That's what I'm saying is ridiculous.
No, it's sort of like if you're driving and you're doing directions, right? Out of your house, you take a left instead of a right. But you don't want to admit that you should have just started over and with an entirely different direction from the get-go. So you're going to just be lost almost basically forever because you started off on the wrong foot.
I don't get how that relates to this.
Well,
what we're saying is there's a model. One model has
you have
some
to
holes.
abandon it and go back to square one and start over.
Right. So back to square one, that might be valid. But flat Earth isn't back to square one, is it? It's accepting a wholly different model that still has the same flaws.
I've always said that it's flatter than what NASA claims. That's what I've always claimed, right? It's not a radius of 3959. That's just not provable anywhere unless someone's proved it.
But do you not find it odd that the globe model always offers explanations and demonstrations and scientific evidence, and flat Earth offers
scientific
none?
Evidence? Did you just say scientific evidence?
Yeah, things like the Cavendish, which I know y'all don't accept as science, but it is, regardless.
Okay, but don't you find it odd that there's an explanation for every reason why a kid would question whether or not Santa Claus is real?
I gotta quit saying.
Obviously, there's an explanation for it because it's made to represent reality.
Yeah,
I think they're putting it in the dictionary, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oxford's put it in the dictionary. Good old
just
Tony
so many
Soprano.
people use it wrongly.
Yeah.